So this is going to be a quick reading about your current energy and what's crossing you. So this is pile number 1 here with a 20-sided dice, and the number 15 is facing up. And then number 2 is, I believe that's a 10-sided dice with the number 7 facing up. And pile number 3 is a 12-sided dice with the number 9 facing up. Take a moment to choose, and you can pick more than one if you like. But let's get started with pile number 1. Welcome to the reading for group 1. The card that represents you is California Poppy, or Resurrection, and that has to do with letting the day disappear into the blackness of night and not busying yourself with everything, and just kind of going within and almost, I guess I kind of think of like the Four of Swords, where you're taking a rest and your brain's not overactive, and you're not just doing and doing. You're going within and you're taking the time out that you need. And the card that is crossing you, or maybe an obstacle that you have, is Mullen. Actually, I will put these right next to each other so you can see them both. And Mullen is integration. And I think what this is saying is that maybe you're not making the connection between whatever your goal or issue is. Your intuition isn't connecting with your brain, or it's like you're just not making that bridge that you need to bring it all together. You know, connecting your intuition to your mind, to your heart, grounding. You're not seeing the whole thing as one whole solution. You're just separating everything into little pieces. I drew one more card to see what might help you overcome this. You got Hawthorne. Sorry, my camera's a little wonky here. Hawthorne, Heart's Home, and this actually has to do with connecting your heart to the spirit realm. And this one I'm going to read so you get a full picture, and you might pull something out of it that for yourself that I'm not. Hawthorne remembers a time when local gods watched over knolls and wells, frolicking and making mischief in their branches. She remembers her limbs hung with strands of beads glittering in the sun, and scraps of fabrics fluttering in the wind like prayer flags, offerings to the land itself and the gods who kept alive the vital conduit between spirit and matter. Those days are mostly past, but Hawthorne holds the portals open, knowing these interconnections provide true nourishment to keep the heart whole. If Hawthorne appears for you, strengthen your heart and guard it from homesickness by tending the connections between spirit realms and material world. So that's what I have for you, group 1. Welcome to your reading, group 2. Your card that represents you is Red Clover, center and grounded. And this represents where you are right now. And I think that you are in a centered, grounded state. And maybe working on some creative projects, and that being centered and grounded is helping you to do that, to move and be creative and do some things that inspire you. And the card that I chose it as crossing for you, that may be some obstacles that you have, is Quaking Aspen. We are one. And this is about connections. And maybe you aren't really out connecting with others. You're so centered and grounded and inspired in your own creativity that you have kind of forgotten that we're all connected and that we need other people. We can't really go it alone. I mean, we can, but is that really fruitful? And then I pulled one more card for some advice to help with this crossing situation, this lack of connection. And this card is Sweet Violet. And I'm going to read this one to you. It's Inner Sanctum. Sweet, sweet violet sings of sun and springtime, carpeting meadows and lawns with lush purple petals. But this glorious show is mere flirtation. Her true abundance is in autumn, when quietly, with little fanfare, she shares her seed with the earth, setting the stage for next spring's performance. Violet has no trouble separating public from private. She knows both have their place and season. She's the gossip column socialite who quietly works in a soup kitchen on a Wednesday, knowing life's most important work isn't always done in the public eye. So this card is really representing what we just talked about, where you need both sides. You need to be grounded and centered and have your private time, but also we need those connections and that social activity. It's about balancing those two things. That's your reading, Group 2. Thank you for joining me. Hi, Group 3. This is your reading. And the card that represents where you are at this time is Oats, Just Be. And this card is about being in the moment and just sitting with yourself and being soft and letting what is going to come. And what I think is going on with you is that this is what you're trying to do and where you want to be. This is your goal. And the card that is crossing you, that is your challenge, is Chickweed. Start fresh. And I think what's happening here is that you're having a little trouble with this fresh start and really you're having trouble with that new beginning and making the changes that you need to and chipping away at maybe the bad thoughts or relationships and the things that aren't serving you anymore. And I pulled one more card for your advice. And that card is Yarrow, Pocket of Protection. I'm actually going to read this one to you. That's what I've been doing with all the groups, is just reading the final advice. So you're getting the whole picture. So Yarrow, in older times, Yarrow traveled with warriors. While her official job was staunching wounds, keeping the insides in and the outsides out, her presence brought bravery to the soldiers she kissed. Today, she has much the same task. Yarrow assists you in keeping your boundaries, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual. She creates personal pockets of protection so that you can slow down, gather your strength, and find your courage. Yarrow reminds you that boundaries are not just for keeping the outside from coming in, but also for keeping yourself from leaking out, letting thought and emotions run rampant in the world. Yarrow will create a bubble of protection, a bit of sacred space within which you can regroup, regenerate, and recreate yourself. And I think this is perfect because the advice it's giving you is for you to give yourself boundaries, to have boundaries, either physically, emotionally, or spiritually. And these boundaries are going to give you the opportunity to gather up the strength and recreate yourself and have that fresh start in the chickweed that you're struggling with. So that is your reading, Group 3. Thank you for joining.